My name is Kurtis.
I'm Jesse.
We're doing this as a means of supporting our fundraising for our Beef-a-thon. We are raising money to complete 3 short films. We have shot 2 of them. We have a third to be shot. And we would very much appreciate any financial support you can lend. So if you're entertained by anything that is about to happen or that has already happened, please consider being generous today and helping us out.
Are you going to ask me about the wig or what?
Am I going to ask you about the wig?
Yeah.
You're wearing a wig.
No. Yes,
Why?
I am. I'm wearing a wig. Why?
What prompted this wig choice? Why do you look like a Fox News host?
Well, for one thing, I don't know. I found it on the street on a mannequin. That's not true. I didn't find it on the street. Garage sale. $5 wig. I just wanted to always appear different on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're an actor.
Because I'm an actor. The last time you guys saw me, I was wearing a hat, and people said, and a shirt, and a vest, and people said I looked like the guy from Jurassic Park who spared no expense. So now I'm trying to look completely different from the guy from Jurassic Park who spared no expense.
Right.
Do you like the wig?
Yeah, I like the wig. It's a fine wig.
Do you like the wig?
Do you think you have, like, a desire to, like, disappear into a role? Or do you think you lean more toward that old Hollywood type of, like, having a star text where it's like, oh, this is a Jesse Fine role. I'm going to see Jesse on screen. Or do you want to disappear into the role and people be like, wait, is that Jesse?
That's a good question. I think you could do both. I think somehow I've already garnered some sort of star text, and people assume, or like, people kind of know what they want out of Jesse Fine to be on screen, which is why I was really proud of all my work in American Lightning, because it's my first time where I was able to sort of disappear into a role and to, like, be something more than just Jesse Fine.
Right.
I always wanted to do roles where I could dive deeper into than just the surface. And American Lightning let me do that to my fullest extent.
I'm still thinking about what you said earlier. Are there actors specifically you can think of who do walk that line and do both, who you admire, who, like, sometimes you know that they're just not playing themselves, but that they're playing a type that they're known for, and that's, like, a comfort, and then there are other times when they do go deeper. Are there specific actors you think of?
Oh, sure. Well, Adam Sandler is, like, kind of a big one. He's very capable of just playing himself and being goofy, and people go, oh, Adam Sandler. It's an Adam Sandler movie. And that itself has its own, it's like its own genre, Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
And growing up, small country town, I was one of the only Jewish, or people who identified as Jewish, you know.
I mean, if you're Jewish, you're Jewish.
If I'm
You don't
Jewish,
really
I'm
get a
Jewish.
choice in that identity.
Yeah,
Some identities you get a choice in.
I was Jewish.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler was, like, the first active celebrity who was, like, very proud of being Jewish.
Yeah.
That I was made aware of. And so I latched onto him from a very young age.
Yeah.
And so it's been great to, like, fall in love with his, like, stupid comedies and then be able to discover, like, Punch Drunk Love. People really like Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Great movie.
He gives a great performance. Paul Thomas Anderson, he's good. He's good. But then, Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
That's another role that, like, he deserved the Oscar nomination. He didn't get any nominations. He did. Yeah. He. I think the Academy was afraid because then every movie could say Oscar-nominated Adam Sandler.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. And I think they were really afraid of that.
Nominated Adam Sandler.
Yeah. So Adam Sandler's a big one. Tom Cruise. he also has kind of like a genre.
Yeah,
It's a Tom Cruise film.
He used to go deeper.
But he used to go pretty deeper, and there's still, he can still do it. I think as he gets older,
you have more hope for him
I have
pulling out
hope.
good performances than I do.
Yeah, I have hope that as he gets older, he'll return back to his deeper acting, and there's shades of it in Top Gun Maverick.
I think he's entered his Vegas phase, and he's just gonna. This is his retirement. He's just gonna keep being himself, doing his thing, and showing up for the fans.
We'll see. Apparently he's working on like an old Hollywood like musical with Christopher McQuarrie, and I'm interested in that. That'll be cool. But Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson also. His is less subtle, but he's got a lot of star text.
Yeah.
He also kind of he also can
Also,
disappear into a role.
That leads me to another question then. Some of these actors you're naming, and then others that I can think of, they start off young and strong, wanting to prove themselves. They're hungry, and they go for these more complicated roles, these deeper roles, and they try to bring that forward. And then I don't want to disparage them or say they get lazy, but they do tend to fall into more of those typecast things where Nicholson's old and grumpy or old and creepy. Those were the two things he played pretty much from the 80s onward.
Yeah. With rare exceptions.
Do you see something like that happening for yourself, or do you think you're going to try and stick to a more Pacino route where maybe people do start to see you as the shouty guy, but you're still I don't need to say it to you, but look at the guy's filmography. He's still putting in a lot of effort.
Pacino is one of the last ones who's still putting in all the stops and all the
Dustin
effort.
Hoffman maybe too.
Dustin Hoffman. He's another.
He shows up less
Pacino,
these days, but I would argue that he still does give good performances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good. We're both not saying it, but De Niro.
Yeah, he hasn't lost it, but he definitely has at least wandered astray from who he used to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
what do you see for yourself ideally in your career?
If I last that long, personally, I want to say that I would keep trying.
Yeah.
And that I would, keep experimenting, because that's a lot of the people that I look up to have long careers, not just in movies, music, everything. Yeah. Everyone has really long careers. And I would really like to have a long career. Yeah. But I don't know. I'd have to see how I feel once I'm 50. What am I going to be doing when I'm 50?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I'll be alive.
Well, you don't know.
I'm 27 this year.
There's no way of knowing.
What about you? What do you want to be thought of when what do you want to be doing when you're older?
Yeah,
studio films.
I don't know about that. I think if there is a time in my life where I find myself doing studio films, I don't think it would last super long. I could give it's like joining the army, I could maybe give them 10 years, maybe 20, if I'm being pushed and getting paid really well. But I think fundamentally my spirit is independent, and that I get a lot more artistic pleasure from having that creative control and working closely with people I trust, rather than having to make a product that needs to be sold. But I don't know. I could also see myself giving up movies entirely for a decade and just going and doing something else.
That's the other thing too. Is it's we both have so many different hobbies and things that we can use to express ourselves artistically. And I find that I can't be doing all of them all the time. And whenever I'm focusing on one thing, something else is slowly dying or not being used.
Yeah.
So there might be a time where I just don't want to act and I want to focus on songwriting or poetry writing or anything.
Or a family.
Or
Maybe.
Maybe a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Who are your top 5 actors?
I think I've already stated them.
Not in any numerical order.
I have to give a number?
You don't have to give a number, but give me the 5 that when you approach a role and you're thinking, how can I do this? Who are the people that inspire you, that give you that, pantheon you can look to?
Okay. Okay, I'm going to say Jack, big, Jack Nicholson. Because I'm purely looking for what inspires me as an actor. So Jack, because he follows impulses. Dustin Hoffman. I'm going to throw in Faye Dunaway, because she has great screen presence, but she also has great technique. She's able to, control her breathing. And she brings out, when I need, some sort of tenderness to roles, I can, there's, moments in American Lightning where I'm, directly ripping off Faye Dunaway. And, I don't know. So I'm going to throw her in. That's 3. Chaplin.
Yeah.
I love Chaplin. I love his physicality and his iconography. That leaves me one more. Who's someone I can always turn to? Is there someone Is there someone I'm not saying?
I mean, you mentioned Sandler earlier. I think Mel
Sandler.
Brooks is a performer.
Oh, Mel Brooks too.
Maybe not as an capital A actor, but
Yeah, I put kind of Mel Brooks and Adam Sandler and a little bit of Chaplin kind of in the same category in my mind. It's I look for them when I
the short funny man.
Yeah, and they have all 3 of those guys have great timing.
There is one that I think you haven't mentioned, and that's Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah. I haven't mentioned Johnny Depp because where he is a little blurry.
Yeah.
But he is a big inspo. He was a big inspo because he was so weird, and there was no one like him for a solid 10 years.
Definitely.
And he was just doing things acting wise that was so real to the characters he was playing. The characters were so out of this world.
Yeah.
He was able to ground them in reality, even though he was playing the weirdest people. Edward Scissorhands is it's Edward Scissorhands is so full of heart, and yet he could have just played him some sort of I don't know, one-dimensional broken monster kind of guy.
Right.
But that's just not what he was doing.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I love, again, I think another reason why I like Johnny Depp is his iconography. I mentioned it with Chaplin, but I love people who you can just tell who they are by looking at them, or all their characters are so specific.
Yeah.
One of my dreams is to have people dressed up as my characters for Halloween.
Right.
Because that's what when I was a kid and I would dress up, I would love to dress up as characters from movies more than I would anything scary. And so, Johnny Depp had so many characters you could dress up as. Harrison Ford, I look up to a lot, but not. I don't know. I just like Harrison Ford. I like his star text. I like what he stands for. I don't necessarily look for him as acting inspiration, but I do look up to him as he was just some guy.
Yeah.
He was literally just a guy.
Well, I think part of what's so likable about his ethos and his persona is that he still gives that vibe, that he's some guy.
Yeah, and that he doesn't buy
It's
into
just a job.
Yeah, it's just he's a working actor.
Yeah.
That's what I like, is he's he doesn't just rest upon his laurels. Yeah. He's constantly out there doing a job. I read an interview where he just approaches it like a job, putting food on the table.
Yeah.
So I like that, and just doing it for the job. What about you? What are your actors? Who are your actors?
It's Brando.
Oh yeah.
First and number one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cliched answer that you ask almost any actor who has seen his films and like studied the craft of acting, and they're probably going to say that Brando's like the most important American actor. Secondarily, or even depending on the day, tied with him, I say Pacino.
Yeah, Pacino is another one. I'm always impressed with.
I think
Pacino.
he's the torchbearer of Brando's legacy. I think he has more... Like, I love him and De Niro, and they're often in the same conversation. But to me, I think Pacino has, like, just maintained his stamina through his theatrical training as a performer, and that he, like, has just kept going and kept it alive and hungry. And I mean, the streak of performances from, like, Michael Corleone to Serpico to Michael Corleone again, and Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternoon.
That's all in the span of like 3 years.
Oh yeah.
That's an incredible run for any actor. So Pacino, he's a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, you're mentioning big guns.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're like...
They're titans.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from watching their performances. Like, Pacino just has the best, like, unblinking, quiet, menacing stare.
I keep thinking about that long take in Dog Day where he's on the phone.
Yeah, an incredible one, yeah. I think about his argument scenes with Diane Keaton, too, in The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
The
Diane
Godfather's-
Keaton is
yeah.
another one who also gives me inspiration.
But then, to narrow it down to, like, actors who have affected my idiosyncrasies and, like...
Yeah, that's what I was
how
trying
I
to go
approach
for.
roles.
Yeah.
Well, because I do look to those guys for, like, decision-making, and I've definitely I've unintentionally emulated Brando in many situations. But Nick Cage, I think, is up there for me, just as a tall, skinny white guy, brown hair. Nicolas Cage he's crazy. He's amazing.
You got blonde hair.
Right now. So do you. For all intents and purposes.
Oh, yeah.
But Nick Cage is up there because I don't think... I mean, he's getting credibility more so now than he has in the past. But I don't know that it's always a fully encompassing credibility that he's being given. I think people saw Mandy.
Yeah, let's talk about
Pig,
this.
And they
Tell me about Pig. Tell me about Pig.
I'm not crazy about Pig. We've talked about this.
But tell them.
Okay, it was just tonally confused to me, and it wasn't like a love letter to Portland that made any sense to me. The idea that there's a criminal underworld somewhere under Pioneer Square of culinary people that should be taken seriously and isn't a joke is fucking absurd. But Nick Cage is an actor. I think he's gotten this resurgence, this renaissance in his career because of those films. Because he was returning to this like gritty thing that people didn't know he could do. But if you look at the filmography, the man has had a much more storied journey and has given many different kinds of performances.
Yeah, he's another one of those working actors. He just wants to work.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He'll do anything from like family-friendly movies to the weirdest,
I mean, Leaving
surreal...
Las Vegas, he won the Oscar. And I feel like a lot of these people giving him praise again nowadays probably still haven't seen that movie.
I mean, I still haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I mean, I got into him because of Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona is one that I look to, too.
Yeah.
I love cartoons.
Yeah.
I love having a mustache sometimes and wearing those kinds of shirts. It's a great performance.
Cohen's.
But moving on, Gene Wilder.
Oh, for sure.
Also, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is like one of the most formative movies for me. I based a lot of my personality on his performance in that movie of this like aloof, chaotic neutral, right? Where it's like, these children could die right now, but I'm going to choose to quote Oscar Wilde instead and hang out with my little friend.
Oscar Wilder. Am I the little friend?
No.
Am I the Oompa Loompa?
No. I think you could play a good Grandpa Joe.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, Gene Wilder's up there. I mean, The Producers is another great performance. The I'm wet, I'm hysterical.
I'm hysterical,
and
I'm wet.
Pain. There are others, too. Walken.
Oh yeah, you watch a lot of
I
Walken.
kind of tie Walken and De Niro for my tall guys.
I
I
would
don't-
almost rather watch a bad Christopher Walken movie than a bad De Niro movie.
I agree completely. I love Walken. I think he walks a line that a lot of people take for granted. Of he can be genuinely menacing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, King of New York is a fantastic performance. And then he can also be comedic and jovial. And he can also be, like, really tender and sweet in some of his movies. And yeah, I don't know. I think he's aged very well. And I'm very excited to see him in Dune. What would be your top 5 films if you had to name them?
Oh, don't.
Right now, today. Not all time, but just right now, today. You're thinking, like, oh, that's a great fucking movie. It's a fantastic movie. I would love to rewatch that. Roadhouse?
No, you like Roadhouse
Rat
more
Race?
than I do. No, I don't. Curtis has this bit where he's always saying Rat Race is my favorite movie. I've only seen Rat Race
Not a
like
bit.
once.
It's not a bit.
I don't know. My 5 favorite films as of right now, today. This could change, and in no order either. Paper Moon, Rocky, Annie Hall, Back to the Future, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let me tell you why you chose suck.
Yeah, please,
I'm
go on. What are your top 5 movies right now?
Love Streams. Cassavetes. In a Lonely Place. Willy Wonka. Modern Romance.
Wild
In
Hunt.
2 senses. California Split.
Oh, sure.
I love that movie.
I was just looking at my list of favorites on Letterboxd,
Yeah.
and I left out several ones.
You say them if you want.
9 to 5, I've seen many, many times,
Yeah, 9 to 5, sure.
and I want to throw that in as my 6th favorite movie
Sure.
because it's a comedy
Yeah.
and it's about women. I love comedies, and I love women.
Yeah. You
9
do.
to 5.
Yeah. Oh, The Heartbreak Kid.
Oh yeah,
That's. Yeah.
but you got Modern Romance.
I would knock out Modern Romance and put
For
in
The Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
Damn.
Heartbreak Kid is a masterpiece. It needs to be re-released immediately.
Oh yeah, that.
The original, not the Ben Stiller movie. Talking about Elaine May.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, should we have a bunch of questions that were submitted to us?
Yeah, sure.
Should we move on, or you got any more?
We can get into those. We can riff around.
We can
other
riff?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Some of you watching or listening might be aware. Others of you might not. We asked people to send us in questions.
Anonymously.
Some of them anonymously. Some of
Anon.
them we know who they came from. We're gonna get into them and see what's up with you weirdos.
This one just says, "Would you ever get with me?" -D.
-D.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna promise things anonymously to whoever you are, D. Or if that was an incomplete smiley face.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like a happy face or it's a signature.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no.
Damn.
Because I don't know who you are.
You're breaking hearts.
State your case. Make yourself known. Be proud of who you are. Seduction doesn't happen anonymously. So,
Sometimes it does. Eyes wide shut.
what's anonymous about that?
They wear a mask.
That's not seduction.
I mean, we have 2 different
That's
definitions of
that's
seduction.
a rich people orgy with sex slaves. I would not call it seduction. Would you get with D?
No.
Yeah, also no.
I like the chase.
That's 2 no's, D.
Okay, next question. Was there a specific moment in each of your lives where you knew you wanted to be part of the film industry and world? That's a good question. Mm-hmm. It's a really good question.
A specific point? No.
No.
I wouldn't say there was one specific point. It was just a gradual journey of, I grew up loving movies, watching movies with my dad, with my brother. And, we met at camp.
Your brother?
No, you and I.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people know that.
But yeah, do you think we should, tell?
That wasn't one of the questions.
Oh, okay.
But
okay, well, we'll save it for later.
yeah.
I'm switching.
But
It's getting hot in this wig.
It's fair. You and I, we met at a film camp, where we were very much drilled in the actual movie making process. I'd played with a camera, I'd done movie adjacent things for fun, but this was a place where we had to show up, work with other people we didn't know, and collaborate and make a movie.
Yeah, if we're gonna start talking about camp, camp was cool because it was like you have a week to make a movie, and at the end of the week, there's a premiere for it.
Yeah.
And what was great about it is everyone was just assigned their, not assigned, but everyone kind of chose their parts.
Yeah.
And then they kind of stuck to it. So if you signed up to be an editor, you were an editor for that group. If you were a cinematographer, you were a cinematographer for that group. But cinematography and kind of director were kind of meshed together.
Some
I
of
feel
the time,
like a lot of the times, the writers. And each time I was at camp, I signed up to be an actor. So.
Yeah.
But I know we ended up writing scripts together.
Yeah, yeah, we co-wrote most things, which we still do. Yeah, I don't know that there was one moment where I saw something on a screen or somebody told me, "Kid, you can do this," and I was like, "Yeah, I want to do this." But I think it was just a series of those small reinforcements of this is a place where I feel creatively safe and inspired to express myself while also engaging in that social aspect that is unique to filmmaking, where you do have to work with all these other people all at the same time. That, we're human beings, socializing is a big part of emotional fulfillment. So, yeah, no.
For me, there was
one moment.
not one moment about industry, but there was one moment where I knew that I wanted to entertain for the rest of my life.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that was in 5th grade. We were all the whole class was supposed to give speeches about historical people, and I had just went to Disneyland, and I was like, I'm going to give mine on Walt Disney. And so, but the thing is, I didn't write a speech. I just read a bunch of books and then acted out Walt Disney's life from childhood to adult. And I remember there were scenes where he was on a farm, he rode a pig, and I would run back and forth across the room and throw my big physical physicality. And then there was another time where his foot got stuck on a nail and he ended up getting some sort of infection on the foot, and I pulled on my foot, and I was like, I can't get it out, and I would call up people from the audience telling me to take my foot out. And my teacher was so impressed. They pretty much sent me on a tour of the school. Every classroom, they sent me to do my Walt Disney presentation. And I pretty much did it exactly the same way each time. And then at the end of the tour, my principal pulled me, took me to the office. And he was like, do you know what acting is?
Yeah.
And he explained to me, he was like, when you watch movies, those are people playing roles, and that's acting. And he was like, I think you could do that. So Mr. Alan Adler, the principal of Territorial Elementary, told me what acting is.
There you go.
And I've been chasing the high of that school tour my whole life.
That's fair. If you want to get specific of acting, there's definitely a couple moments I could think of where I was like, I do want to do this.
Oh, sure, go for it.
I was in a musical when I was around 10 or 11 years old, and it was called Honk Jr.
Honk?
Yeah, it's The Ugly Duckling, the story of the Ugly Duckling, but as a musical for kids, and by kids. And I had auditioned to be this hot-headed, cool Blue Jay reporter, and I lost the role.
Damn.
I did, yeah.
I thought you were about to get it. The way you said that, I thought you were about to get it.
That was the anticipation. That was intentional. But they cast me as a goat, and ironically enough, I was cast as the goat who was his cameraman.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so I'm put in this position of, kid, you're good enough to be in the production, but we don't want you to be the pretty showboat. We want you to be this goat. And so instead of like getting too grumpy about it, I just decided I was gonna be, the best fucking goat cameraman in the play.
Oh yeah.
And so I drew this goat tee on myself, and I went out on stage and just chewed a can of Coke.
Nice.
In the background, not in the script. Like, I was given no direction. They didn't really care.
They never
about me.
do.
I was just an extra, pretty much. And I did that, and I remember that action stealing laughs from the kid who had the part I wanted, and I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I want to keep getting these laughs, and not being a showboat or, like, upstaging the people I'm working with, but proving myself of why I deserve to have an equal share of the spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah. There was something that similar happened to me with the Missoula Children's Theater. They came to my town and they were doing a King Arthur play.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to be King Arthur because he's the main character.
Yeah.
I didn't get King Arthur. I got Sir Lancelot. And he had a
Great part.
He was a great part. He had decent lines. He's a part, but he had this line where every time Guinevere would come on stage, he'd bow and say, "My lady."
Yeah.
And I thought I was just mimicking what they had told me to do. They said, you get down on a knee and you say, "My lady."
Yeah.
And I took it very serious. I would I don't know what I did, but I would drop down and just pause. Because obviously the movement of going down is dramatic. And then there's the pause. And then there's the giant, "My lady." I don't know why, but it killed. Something about it just got huge laughs.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the director was recording me on the phone and was like, "I'm sending this to the people in charge, and this is how we're gonna play the character from now on." And I I thought I was just doing what they had directed me to, but it got to the point where I would fall on my knees so hard. I was in wrestling at the time, and I had these knee pads. I remember I would jump off one of those stage blocks, get into kneeling position in the air, and land on my knee. Yeah. And I started getting bruising, and so I had a knee pad on. It was big.
Yeah.
It was that was another thing that I remember feeling very good about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the next question?
Did you also have a specific moment where you realized you wanted to be creative partners?
I don't know if there's one moment. I think it was just a feeling that our minds worked well together creatively that sprung up from going to camp together.
Oh yeah.
And staying up late at night and eating cheap pizza and just making each other laugh.
I think you're remembering
coming up with
same.
ideas.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just that feeling of making each other laugh. And there is almost an element of ego to it too, of I want to challenge this person and one up him a little bit, and be the funnier, not the funnier, but just raise these stakes and make the laughter bigger. And I think we just started doing that slowly, and then it never really stopped.
Yeah, I remember our second year at camp, we would stay up super late, and you had script writing software on your laptop, and we wrote this whole
Celtex. Yeah.
Celtex. You had Celtex.
The old pirated free one.
And we had Celtex, and we wrote this whole script about two campus policemen who pretty much were inept at their jobs because they're not real police, they're campus police.
Yeah.
And we had a whole backstory, and it was just like gut shaking laughter for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Deep like it was also because it was we were like in dorms and it was a camp, so you weren't supposed to be up after a certain time.
Yeah.
So it was also like stifling the laughter because you weren't supposed to be laughing.
Yeah.
And it was just yeah, it was really happy times and really fun. And so I remember we wrote that script together, and then over the next summer, we were returning to camp, and we, through our Facebook Messenger group, just kind of came up with the idea for our third one, and then it just when I was getting ready to move, and he was getting ready to move, and it was like, hey, let's just move in and make movies together.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. But yeah, I would say just staying up really late at night was like, just trying to make each other laugh was very important to, like, I didn't really like go like, oh, I want to work with this guy forever. It's just happening.
Yeah, it just kind of happens.
It just kind of happens.
I think one hallmark of it being like not meant to be, but like of like why it makes so much sense is I can look back on those evenings when we did stay up late writing, and I don't remember any specific joke that you wrote or that I wrote that made me go, this is great. It's just like it was fun, and then the authorship of it kind of disappeared. And I think that's where the collaboration enters the picture. Because I can remember certain jokes, but I do not, for the life of me, know who came up with that.
I mean, I remember a lot of jokes, and I think most of them were I think most of them were you, the ones that I remember. The one that's about he's just eating girls, like that came from you.
Yeah.
The one about the puppets and being drunk, that came from you.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of my jokes.
I'm hilarious. That's what Jesse's getting
Yeah,
to.
Kurtis.
I'm actually the funny one, contrary to what you might be.
I'm the deep, moody, philosophical one.
We present the opposite.
Yeah.
But deep down.
Deep down. Yeah. Is Michael Jackson still alive?
No.
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 He's
died.
dead.
Yeah.
His work of art.
Music is still alive.
Music is still alive.
His
music videos.
Controversies.
His
still
controversies. His sisters. His daughters.
Brothers.
His legacy is still alive. But Michael Jackson himself.
The king of pop is dead.
The king of pop is dead.
Next question. Who asked
Can I skip? Can I skip?
Do you not have Google?
Introvert or extrovert? What does that mean? Am I an introvert or an extrovert?
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Next question.
I go back and forth on saying which I am, because I feel like most people see me as an introvert, but I'm also a Leo and love performing. So, next question.
I am also an extrovert.
Yeah.
Who is inverted.
Yeah, you're very into yourself sometimes. Not in a narcissistic way, but in like a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm deep.
Yeah. Sensitive.
Do you believe in God?
I don't believe in one God. I don't believe in the Judeo-Christian God. I don't believe in really any, like, religion, let's say. I would consider myself, like, mildly spiritual.
Yeah,
I do think there's some sort of force or, like, just grand misunderstanding that's happening. You know, because all this shit is pretty crazy. Everything we're experiencing, it really doesn't make any sense. And so, you know, I want it to make sense, but it doesn't. And maybe there's reasons things happen. Sometimes shit is just too serendipitous to ignore. And, you know, when I'm having a bad day, it really helps to blame a vague, blurry white man in the sky.
So he's white to you. So it's he to me. So it's they.
There is no God.
Yeah, I consider myself a spiritual person. I believe in the things around me. Beauty of the stars and the sky and the ground.
I could smoke DMT and see God and still not believe in it.
Yeah.
That's
God
where I'm
probably
at.
looks like...
God is an experience.
Yeah. God is a concept by which we measure our pain. Next question.
We came up with that.
What wizard stole Jesse's hair? They misspelled my name here. The wizard is called... I was on steroids growing up.
Yeah. Merlin? I don't know. What do you want? You want a clever answer?
It's genetics.
Ask a real question.
Don't get mad at our people, at our fans. I'm not mad.
He doesn't have hair, okay? Let's not make him feel bad about it.
Makes the wig thing now. It seems kind of desperate. Are you flirt?
My magic wand.
Next question. Are you flirtatious? I don't know why we both did finger thing. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm many things. I wear many faces, many masks.
But are you flirtatious?
I mean, yeah, it depends on the context.
Were you voted biggest flirt in high school?
I was not. I was voted most likely to take over the world.
I was voted most likely to become famous.
So, you at home decide which sounds sexier, and we'll flirt with you based on that.
Yes. Next question. This one just says, I really like you. This one must be meant for me.
Yeah, it was sent to me, but it's definitely meant for you.
Yeah, it got lost in translation.
Yeah.
Do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
If I believe in them, are they really theories? If I believe they're true? I don't know. I like to watch the X-Files. 9/11 seems suspicious. I'm not going to say what I think happened because I don't know what happened.
Well, JFK definitely had multiple.
JFK was assassinated
Definitely.
by us, most likely.
Me?
No, not you and I.
Oh.
But probably the CIA.
Yeah.
Either in collaboration with the mafia or the Cuban government or both.
Yeah.
That to me also isn't a theory. That's pretty much confirmed. Bullets don't curve.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Yeah, go to Dealey Plaza, check it out. There's a tree in the way of that book depository. And there was in 1963. Yeah, 3.
Play the video game JFK Reloaded.
Listen to Murder Most Foul.
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are probably the two big ones.
I don't believe it, but I love the conspiracy theory that Paul McCartney's dead and was replaced
Oh, yeah, that one is pretty
in
funny.
1966 by a fake guy named Billy Shears.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it.
I
and
also-
even if it is true,
Yeah.
I think the new guy is really talented.
Fair. I mean, he started Wings.
Yeah.
I also want to say, it seems almost like a hot take these days, but I don't think the moon landing was fake. I think we went to the moon.
Oh.
And that's
people
one of the
don't- yeah.
very few things that makes me proud to be an American. So for the love of God, don't take it away from me.
Also, I know it's also a hot take, but I also believe that the Holocaust did happen. Like,
It did.
it actually happened. I don't know why you guys are denying it. I know people who were directly involved with people who survived that shit. I know people who did survive that shit.
Yeah.
It's real.
Holocaust acceptance. It's the opposite of denial.
Yeah.
Get on board.
Yeah. Next question. Why do you take so long to respond to messages? This one's just to you. I don't know.
This one's just well, these ones that we're going through right now were all sent to me. Why do you take so long to respond to messages?
Well, you have your 9 to 5.
I do work a job, I do take time for myself. I make no apologies. If you receive a delay in a message from me, I'm not sorry. It happens.
Are you traveling anywhere soon?
No.
I'm going to New York in a week and a half. Next question. I really like you. That's the question.
That's not a question. Guilty pleasure movies?
My guilty pleasure movies?
Yeah.
If I take pleasure in it, I don't feel guilty
Exactly.
about taking pleasure.
We're
in
not Catholic.
it.
Stop feeling guilty.
But yeah, I don't know. I like, just movies with specific actors. I'll go out of my way to watch. So like, if Steve Martin is in a movie, I'll probably put it on, no matter if it's good or bad, just because I enjoy Steve Martin. Yeah, he's like one of those actors where it's just like, I just need something on. It's gonna be Steve Martin. I would call that a guilty pleasure, just because it's not maybe prestige movies all the time, but I'm not guilty about it. I'm very upfront. I love Steve Martin movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jane Fonda movies.
Yeah. I think
Katharine
cheap
Hepburn
pleasure
movies.
is the better answer.
Cheap pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy pleasure.
Easy pleasure.
Because, guilt does not.
I definitely don't feel guilty
Yeah, no.
about any of those. 2 questions from my friend Lily.
Okay.
What is the first movie you remember seeing in the cinema?
In the cinema? The Ang Lee Hulk. I ran out of the theater scared, and I didn't finish the movie.
Damn. My first one that I saw in theaters, I'm pretty sure, was Monsters, Inc.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. That, I also remember Treasure Planet. Both of those were around the same time.
Yeah.
And then the other question is, who's your favorite Beastie Boy?
MCA, because he's dead.
Mike D. Because it's also a lyric.
The M is for money and the D is for diamonds.
Ad Rock has a cool name, though.
Ad Rock does have a cool name. They're all cool. There's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like the Wu-Tang where if you pick, like, one of the less popular ones, people are going to look at you funny.
What kinds of roles do you want to play in the future?
I don't know, just lots of different ones. Want to jump around, play lots of things. I like playing unhinged. I like playing quiet. Just things that are emotionally resonant with me and that I think make sense more or less with like a broader human experience. I don't want to play anything that like betrays my personal beliefs. And values as much as possible.
I
don't want to play a cop that gets portrayed as a hero.
I don't want to play someone who like slaps a woman.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's all context-based and dependent on things. Like, if someone was coming to me with like their history of abuse and they like trusted me to do that. Then
If it was like the specific circumstances would have to change, but I really don't want to play someone who just like doesn't put in any effort to understand a woman's point of view. Yeah. That's just something that was taught, and I would feel very hard acting that. Acting the opposite. Even in American Lightning, there were like things that were a little hard for me to do. But roles I do want to play, I would love to be in a Western. Western would be cool.
That would be fun.
I would love to,
Any period piece where like you get a fun costume.
Yeah, I would love to do some period piece movies.
I would love to do like a Regency era thing, like one of those dumb Pride and Prejudice or like.
I don't think I could do that, but you could.
Yeah, well, I can. It's the British genetics, and I can do the voices. It'd be fun to wear those collars.
What kind of roles do I want to play in the future?
Alien. I'd love to play an alien. Put me in a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, mostly I think I want to do like period pieces.
More genre stuff.
Genre things. I like I don't like the act of applying makeup, but I like having makeup on me and make me look different.
Yeah.
And there'll be some of that coming up in some of Gare Scare's movies. So keep a lookout for those.
Yeah.
Who are your best girlfriends?
Your mom.
His mom.
We're mama's boys.
Yeah, we love our moms.
Yeah, you should too. If your mom's cool. Not every mom is cool.
What was your favorite show when you were a kid?
There were a lot of them. Frasier. Seinfeld. Good Eats. Iron Chef America. Bobby Flay Throwdown. I don't like Bobby Flay, but I liked watching when he lost.
Did that happen a lot?
No. But that made it all the more pleasing when that smug, arrogant son of a gun lost.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, The Simpsons, South Park, MASH.
Sure.
There were a lot of sitcoms that I watched with my dad.
I watched a lot of cartoons.
I also watched a lot of cartoons.
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob, yep.
SquarePants.
That's up there.
I got into The Simpsons, like preteen.
Yeah, me too.
Kim Possible. I watched. Yeah, I like some of those like Disney Channel ones. Psych, Monk, Saturday Night Live. I was a big SNL head.
Yeah.
Wipeout, the show with the big bouncy balls.
Yep.
Cash Cab.
Mythbusters.
I like Mythbusters. Yeah, I was into Mythbusters.
We're American people. We watched a lot of television growing up.
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something, but yeah, definitely Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I'm missing something, but those were good shows. Opinion on birds.
I love birds. I'm a big bird lover.
Big bird
If I
lover.
could spend a day in an
Bird sanctuary.
what's the word?
Cage.
In an aviary. If I could spend a day in an aviary. Or a cage.
Or a cage.
That would be badass. Yeah, I think birds are magical creatures, and it's really cool that we get to share this earth with them.
Yeah. Birds are cool. I don't like when they scream. Especially crows. There's one crow out the window who, on my days off, it will just scream right when I kind of get to start sleeping in. It'll just start screaming.
Yeah.
And me and that bird have beef, but every other bird I feel pretty good about. How often do your films use improv versus pre-written dialogue?
Depends on the film. Silent monologues, I don't think a word of improv dialogue made it in. There was one take that was in an early cut of the film that was about 5 minutes of improv that was just extending the tension of a scene.
Oh, yeah.
But we ended up cutting it out because the pacing was best in what we had written, whereas American Lightning is entirely improvised dialogue.
Yeah, all of American Lightning is improvised.
Yeah.
And a lot of our early stuff on our YouTube is improvised.
Yeah. It really just depends on the project and what we're going for. If we're doing something that is more in a specific genre and less character forward, I guess, then it's probably more written.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing Arch Mime, there was a script.
There was a script originally. Yeah.
And then it just got to the point where the filming was so loose that we just kind of threw everything out the window.
Well, everything fell apart on that movie.
Yeah. But I like improv. I also love scripts. But yeah, I love scripts, and when I do work that consummate script, I take the script very seriously. Unless I'm told that the script is just there for template purposes, in which case then I do like improv because it's spontaneous. And to me, the best version is like both. Because what I like about scripts is I know what I'm supposed to be feeling at specific lines, and I can draw like in the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like informs the energy and the feeling.
Right.
But with improv, it's so spontaneous that I can't usually dive as deep into the character as I want, unless I like really like have to put in my homework.
Yeah.
So a good a good merging of both of them is best for me.
I mean, yeah. I'll be real about it too. Like, there are some student films that I've worked on where the script is shit. Not everyone's cut out to be a writer. And it's better served when I'm involved as an actor if you do let me riff a little, just because I am also a writer, and I think it can give more depth to a character if the script is lacking. If you let the actor just be a real person on camera and not expect them to say things or do things that are inhuman when they're supposed to be playing a human.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice. Least favorite genre of movie, or a kind of movie you'd never want to make?
Christian. I will never make a faith-based film. Please hold me to that.
I'm not gonna. Scorsese made a faith-based film.
That's different. That's not a Christian film. That's a drama film about Christianity and faith. I'm talking about propaganda Christian filmmaking that is about, like, this guy was an atheist, and then he got in a car accident, and now he's in an ambulance, and he's gonna believe in God now. That's a dumb fucking movie. It shouldn't exist. Propaganda.
Propaganda.
I don't want to be in a propaganda film either.
But I like Dirty Harry.
And I like Die Hard, but we don't need more of them, is what I'm saying.
That's all the submitted questions.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What are you gonna do with the rest of your night?
Yo, I have work tomorrow, so I'm gonna order a pizza, drink a beer, maybe watch the new How To with John Wilson.
Yeah.
Maybe an episode of The Office.
Yeah.
Or Mad Men. Whichever, just chill, enjoy my little downtime before I go into the office tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Beef.